It's time for the Georgia State Sports Update. Dave Cohen joined right now by Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles. Coach, thanks for coming in studio. It has been a whirlwind here the last, 36 to 48 hours. Going down to Georgia Southern, everybody confident going down there. There was a lot on the line. We had 5 wins, had to get the 6th win, and I think you even said it's got to go. If it's got to go through Statesboro, it's got to go through Statesboro. Final score, 34-7. One of the great wins, if not the greatest win to this point, this very short history of this football program on Saturday. Georgia State over Georgia Southern, and the program's first bowl bid. You'll be going to Orlando for the Cure Bowl.
It says a lot about our young men that are in the program and all the assistants that are working with them. We've got great young men, and they would never give in or give up. And any odds that they saw, they knew that they could conquer it. So they went in very confident down there. They never once doubted that they would win the game all week long. And I was actually told by one of our players that early in the week that he felt that we were going to blow them out the way we were focused and dialed in. So I'm very excited for those young men. Just to see the expression on their face on the sidelines when we knew we had it won is priceless. Something you'll always remember. You won't always remember all the scores and every single play, but you'll remember the expression on their faces and how happy they were, and I couldn't be more thrilled for them.
Listen, we knew the offense could go down there and score points, but hats off to the defense. Everybody knows what Georgia Southern's going to do. Every team that faces them knows what Georgia Southern's strength is, and that's just running the football. And the defense just flat out did an outstanding job. You held them to 7 points.
And 135 yards rushing.
Outrushed Georgia Southern in their own stadium.
They're the leading rushing team in the nation, almost 400 yards a game, and we were able to hold them to 135, and it says a lot about our discipline. It says a lot about our scheme, Jesse Minter and his defensive staff. But the credit goes to the young men because they were physical. And it's not just that game. If you go back and you look, I think probably the last 5-6 games, they're only averaging giving up 14 points a game.
Right.
And probably not too many, I think it's like 200-300 yards a game. And, that goes to the young men and their execution and their focus. But it also goes to Jesse and his defense because those are the same stats he was given when we left Indiana State. We were the number 3 rated defense in the nation in FCS. So those were the type of stats that we had, and now it's taken hold here. And again, he gets some credit, but the credit should go to those young men that were out there performing it and doing everything that he asked them to do.
Well, Coach, you had the best quote. It took Georgia Southern, I'm quoting you, it took Georgia Southern 34 years to reach a bowl. It took Georgia State 6, only 3 at the FBS level.
I stole that from Charlie Cobb.
No, it's incredible, though. I mean, it's incredible to step back and look at the accomplishment.
Yes, and it says a lot about the administration, the support that we're getting. It says a lot about the student body, a lot about everything about our student athletes and the program because where it's going. Because the schools that have just started football, startup programs, UT San Antonio, South Alabama, Old Dominion, they were programs that had the same people in place for the 2 years prior to them beginning to play and all the way through now.
Right.
And we've gone through 2 different staffs. And my hat's off to Coach Bill Curry for getting this thing going and starting. And we were able to build on what he started, and we're really thrilled about it. And we're very excited that he's going to join us. He and Carolyn are going to join us for the bowl game. And we're just excited about the direction of our program and all the things it can do for Georgia State University. Not just athletic department, but the university as a whole and the pride that you take in the university and the exposure that we're going to get at the bowl game.
Real quick, congrats to you, Sunbelt Coach of the Year.
That would be the staff, not me.
Right.
That would be the staff because they're the ones that do everything. So it's an honor to get those types of accolades, but it goes to the staff because those are the guys that handle everything, and people are getting a chance to meet one of the guys on the staff in a few minutes.
Nick Arbuckle, Student Athlete of the Year, Penny Hart, Freshman of the Year, no surprise with those two. First team, you got Nick, Penny, Robert Davis, Taurus Batiste. Second team, Joe Pietersen, Keith Rucker, Will Lutz.
And then we'll have some honorable mention players that we're pretty excited about in Donovan Harden, Shandon Sullivan, Shawanye Lawrence, and I think that Bobby Baker. So, or Alonzo McGee. Alonzo McGee made it. So, you know, we're excited about all those guys. And again, it's not just a one-person award. It's when they get that, it's their teammates. Nick doesn't get it if the guys aren't catching it or blocking for him. And Taurus doesn't get it if the D-line's not doing their job. And Joe P doesn't get it if the D-line's not keeping the guys from getting up on him blocking-wise. So it's a team thing. Again, nobody takes it as just an individual award. It belongs to the whole team.
All right, well, congrats, and everybody's going to have a great time down in Orlando. Going to take on San Jose State on December the 19th. Georgia Southern had a special video prior to the Georgia State-Georgia Southern game. You may not have seen it yet. We're going to have it coming up here in just a moment on the show, and I think Georgia State has also done kind of a video to kind of answer their video. So before we go to highlights, 34-7 the final score down in Statesboro. Georgia State, a winner over their in-state rival, Georgia Southern. We're going to start out with the special video that the folks down there in Statesboro put together, anticipating Georgia State's arrival to their fair town.
Friends, this is a bowl. Lovely, isn't it? It's from Tibet. And this is a cute little kitty cat, mascot of the Georgia State Footballing Club. What's this in between the bowl and the cute little kitty cat? It's an eagle, symbol of freedom, America, kicking hindquarters, and Georgia Southern University football. He's already got his bowl and is weary of the kitty cat's big talk. Sorry, kitty, it's just not happening this year. Maybe next time. Remember, Southern, not State. Brought to you by your friends at Stout House Media.
Oh, sh**. Again, the highlights of Georgia State, Georgia Southern, 34-7 the final score. One of the great wins, if not the greatest win to this point, maybe other than the win over Shorter on September the 2nd of 2010. But nonetheless, it leads to Georgia State heading to Orlando for their first ever bowl appearance in the AutoNation Cure Bowl. And one of the guys, along with Coach Miles, who we just had on set, that has helped get this team ready. And it's gotten better and better as the weeks have gone on here. And Panther fans have seen Scott Holsopple on the show because he's been hosting our Panther Pump segment. Scott, great to have you in here. And congrats to you, too, because you do a lot of work with this football team, getting them ready to do what they need to do out in the field. And, boy, the Georgia Southern game, this team having won its last four, but the Georgia Southern game was the cherry on top for everything that you guys have worked on.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I think a lot of it's, you follow the lead of the staff. We have a really close staff. It's like a family over there with the players. Like Coach said, you credit the players. And the staff being everybody's on the same page. And I think it was a bunch of people coming together, battling mentally and physically, and never wavering on what we do.
You know, you go back to this team really during the summer, and you look at them where they are now, and it's a lot of hard work in between. You got some wins, you got some games that Georgia State was not able to win. And I don't want to say the wins and losses don't matter to you, because it's not going to alter what you do. Your strength and conditioning program is going to happen whether this team wins or loses, but certainly when it wins, it changes the atmosphere. Everybody probably has a couple of extra lifts or an extra skip in their step when things are going really well, as they have been here throughout November and December.
Yeah, and I think, besides just, I don't think it necessarily changes the attitude as much. We have a lot of guys that battled and really believed in our program and our coaching staff and what we were trying to accomplish. And they were getting extra ever since I first stepped on campus. I mean, we had a bunch of hungry guys that you had to try and feed them a vision of some place that they've never been before, and how hard it was actually going to be to actually get there.
Yeah.
And I think the whole peak of it was last weekend.
Well, congrats to you on everything that you've done along with the coaching staff, and now you can kind of sit back. It was a crazy 24 hours, but now everybody can kind of turn their attention. What do you do now to get ready? You got 2 weeks or parts of really a week and a half before heading down to Orlando. You just kind of keep doing what you've been doing?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of reset the focus on another business trip and make sure we don't waver and keep doing what we've been doing and getting better all year.
All right, well, appreciate you coming in. We'll see you down in Orlando. Let's get those guys ready to go.
You got it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, I want to thank strength and conditioning coach Scott Holsopple coming in and joining us here on Georgia State Sports Weekly. And coming up, Georgia State and San Jose State down in Orlando. Busy week for Georgia State football and men's basketball and women's basketball. Time now to see what's coming up here in Georgia State athletics on the schedule. On the athletic schedule at Georgia State, coming up on Friday, December 12, men's basketball hosting the Monarchs of Old Dominion at the Georgia State Sports Arena. That game will tip off at 2 p.m. Saturday, December 19th, got two big events. Men's basketball at Southern Miss. They'll be in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. That game tips off 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And the Georgia State football team will be down in Orlando, the AutoNation Cure Bowl at the Citrus Bowl. That also on Saturday, December 19th, kickoff at 7 p.m. A historical day, to say the least, for Coach Miles and the Georgia State football team. Women's basketball down at the Stetson Hatter Classic Sunday and Monday, December 20th and 21st. On Sunday, they'll take on Bethune-Cookman down at the Edmunds Center in DeLand at 3 o'clock. And then on Monday, December 21, 3 o'clock tip-off as well for Georgia State women's basketball against the host, Stetson Hatters. And that's what's going on coming up here in Georgia State athletics. Right now, joined in studio by Georgia State's senior linebacker Joe Pietersen. And Joe, thanks for taking the time to come in here. What a 24-hour period this Georgia State football team had down in Statesboro. Big win over Georgia Southern. Not just a win, a big win over Georgia Southern, the in-state rival. 6th win of the season, had to win the last game. And now for the first time in school history, in just the 3rd year of FBS football, the AutoNation Cure Bowl coming up down in Orlando. I mean, it's been a couple of days now. Have you been able to kind of just sit back and take it all in and realize what you guys accomplished in a relatively short amount of time?
Well, not really, basically because we had to get right back to practice for the coming up Cure Bowl this week, and then next week we'll be leaving on Wednesday. So haven't been really able to sit back and enjoy the win yet Like I wanted to because of practice, so not yet.
If there's one guy on that Georgia State roster, and there are a few seniors, but you've been here 4 years.
Yep.
If there's been a cornerstone to this program, and I don't mean just on the defensive side of the ball, that you can look to and say, hey, where we are today is because of a lot of what you brought to the program coming out of Dothan, Alabama, as a freshman into this program. Not a lot of W's, but all of that hard work. Now you can sit back and say, all of our hard work is paid off because we were here and now we're here.
Yep, most definitely. I mean, coming in, like you said, we didn't have a lot of wins my freshman year, or either going into my sophomore or junior year. So it started on my last year. I wouldn't have it no other way, man, than going out with the group of guys and the coaches that we have now. And we really worked hard to get to where we're at, and it's good to see the hard work finally pay off.
Again, don't want to talk too much about the Georgia Southern game, but be honest. 69-31, the final score last year in the Georgia Dome. For everybody in Panther Blue, it was not a pleasant experience.
Right.
Was that in everybody's mind, or anybody's mind? Was it in your mind at all as you made that trip down to Statesboro, knowing that we were heading down there to play them at Paulson Stadium for the first time?
Right. Oh, yeah, it definitely was in everyone's mind, especially mine. The 69-31 loss from last year, and I was injured that game, so it kind of fell heavily hearted on me going to play down there in Georgia Southern, and it was really exciting to finally get back at them. So.
Finally, just talk about the excitement of this team. It's historical because this is the first bowl that this football team, as young as it is, only 6 years total, 3 years FBS. Just talk about the excitement that everybody, that's kind of permeated the football program as you guys get ready to go to Orlando.
Yeah, man, we're excited. So, I mean, we're actually treating it like it's the Super Bowl for us. I mean, it's been a long time coming, definitely, in my 4 years here at Georgia State. So we're just really happy that we finally get to turn the program around. And, you know, it's a big win for everybody, not only just the football team, but for the program of Georgia State. And we're just happy we're able to do it. So.
Well, Joe, appreciate you coming in. Best of luck. We'll be down in Orlando, and enjoy the experience.
All right, appreciate it.
Let's get a W.
Yep.
All right, I want to thank Joe Pietersen coming in, joining us here in studio on the Georgia State Sports Update. Again, busy time. Football now in a bowl game. Basketball a few weeks into the season. Last week we started with the first piece in a three-piece series by our own Shamika Gibson on the shot. R.J. Hunter's shot last year in the NCAA tournament to beat the Baylor Bears down in Jacksonville. Shamika's back with us this week. Part two of the shot. And it surrounds a little bit the expectations for this Georgia State basketball team heading into 2015 and 16.
I've attended for a grand total of 3 years now.
I've been attending Georgia State's basketball games since the very first game of my sophomore year, which was in 2013.
I've been going to Georgia State men's basketball games since my freshman year of college. I'm a junior now, so I'm really excited for this up-and-coming season. So yeah, it's been that long.
I started attending right after the first football season because I went to the first football game and really liked it, couldn't get enough, but didn't want to have to wait for the next season, so I started going to the basketball games instead.
It's really loud. It takes a while for everybody to get loud, but it'll be like 5 people and they start the loud and then it just like goes up from there.
It's always very, very electric. The stadium may not be full every time, but no matter what, it's always an electric atmosphere, the best atmosphere you can find from any student section in the nation.
The atmosphere in every GSU sports game is always electric and live. I would almost compare it to Duke, but Duke's a little bit crazier than we are. But at least with the student section in itself, we're always heckling the other team. Nice heckling, not too offensive, but loud noises. It always throws off coaches. I see coaches like look at us and get upset at us and are cheering. So I really think it's an electric atmosphere that you don't see anywhere else in the Sun Belt at least. I've been to several schools around the conference, and it's the best atmosphere that I've seen so far of all of those schools. And even some of the big schools that I've been to, they haven't had as much spirit. So it's very electric.
When I first started coming, it was dead. It was just flat dead. Eventually, we got to the point where there were more and more kids coming along, and so it fill up and fill up and fill up, and so everybody's going wild now. At this point, you get a few sellouts a season, and it's crazy. I remember the Southern game, Georgia Southern last season. We heard them getting loud, and so we started just chanting GSU over the top of them, and it just drowned them out. They all shut it. Well, they might have shut it, I can't tell. You just couldn't hear them anymore because we drowned them out. It's really good now. The atmosphere is significantly better than it's ever been before.
Coach Hunter, he's the reason I committed to him. I mean, mostly. I like the way his practices were, fast pace, everything. I like how he coached. I love it. I mean, he means well and wants well for us. So he's the man.
Enthusiastic. Spontaneous. I would give him that. Definitely spontaneous. I can tell you right now, the jokester on the team is everybody. If we get a chance to joke, it's going to be jokes flying from even the coaches. Like, we're all going to joke if we can. Definitely Isaiah Dennis. Isaiah Dennis, Willie's bad on the jokes too. They're younger, so a lot of the guys are more goofier. And it's fun. And sometimes it gets us in trouble, but at the same time, you can't do nothing but help it just being around a bunch of funny, goofy guys. Coming off the success of last season to this season, you know, last season was last season, but this season you have the chance to be even better. So this season you have to go with the mindset of, yeah, I know where I went, but I know also where I can go.
Last year definitely helped us set our goals for this year.
I'm very excited about the new guys coming into the season. We got a lot of younger guys that we didn't have last year that can play right away. Malik Bentley and Jeff Thomas are really good offensive players. You know, once they figure out the defense, I kind of feel like we'll be that much better of a team because that'll give us more depth. My role on the team is really just do everything. I take pride in defense, and I really just take it upon myself to have a lot of energy and do all the dirty work possible. Like, I call me and TJ the Bruise Brothers.
He calls us the Bruise Brothers.
Like, we're gonna do whatever we have to do to get the win, no matter what it is.
My role, in my mind, I guess, is defense and dirty work, rebounding. You know, I mean, I don't consider myself a scorer, but like if I need to, I like to think I can, and offensive rebound, stuff like that. But basically rebounding and defense and the dirty work, that's where the Bruise Brothers comes from.
Oh, this new season, I'm very excited. My senior season, trying to get 3 for 4. 3 rings in 4 years would be great for any college experience.
I'm excited about this year. It's gonna be fun.
Well, going into this new season with some new faces and some old faces, one of the challenges that I'll have this year is blending it all together. This is an extremely deep team, it's a talented team. We haven't had this much depth at Georgia State since I've been here. So part of my job is to make sure that we put all this together, and that's going to take some time in that regard. But what helps is that these young men are talented. So chemistry is going to be a big issue with us early, especially in games. You can do as much practice as you want, but game chemistry is the next step for us right now.
I feel great about the new season. We got a lot of talent, a lot of new pieces, and even some guys who have been here before are playing new roles. So it'd be very interesting to see how they get acclimated early in the year. But I really like this team. I think they listen, they work hard, and I'm looking forward to the end of the year to see how well this team progresses and how good we can really be.
The legacy and the foundation has been built, so now we can just focus on going out there playing. We just be stress-free and play.
Team's gonna play hard and do whatever we have to win. Be a lot of fun to watch.
They got overlooked for a lot of years until they brought the talent like R.J. Hunter and Ryan Harrell in. But now it just got to keep rolling. You know, this is a whole new team, but we just got to keep building off of that momentum that they already set for us.
We thought we had a big target on our back last year. We're going to have even a bigger target on our back this year. We're not going to be able to come up on teams and go, oh, well, yeah, it's just Georgia State. We don't really know a whole lot about them. This will be an easy win tonight. Everybody's going to know this year, okay, these guys are capable on any given night of beating any team in the country.
Joined in studio right now by one of our own, Shamika Gibson. She has been working on and has presented us with her presentation of The Shot. It's a 2-part video documentary of the big shot that R.J. Hunter hit down in Jacksonville at the NCAA tournament last year when the Panthers shocked the Baylor Bears. And she joins us in studio right now. Great to have you in here.
Oh, thanks.
And tell me about this project. You know, I've been with Georgia State basketball now for 33 years, and it was just the 3rd time that Georgia State had advanced to the NCAA tournament. It's kind of catching lightning in a bottle that you're here able to have access to all of the people or many of the people that were involved from the team to the administrators to sports information with the team from last year. Tell me about what brought about your idea or your desire to kind of focus in on that moment in Georgia State history.
Well, I thought it was a story that really needed to be told. Of course, the school, the team got a lot of media attention after the shot. But I just felt that, you know, like you said, that we had only been to the NCAA tournament a couple times before that. So
yeah.
I felt that we needed to kind of take advantage of the opportunity. And I felt like, you know, we kind of needed to extend the story a little bit and tell people that, well, hey, you know, there's a lot that goes into this story other than just the shot. Like, there's an actual team behind this whole story. So I felt that was something that needed to be told.
Of course, the cool thing about it too, and you know, I remember telling some folks that in 2001, when Georgia State went out to Boise, Idaho, and beat Wisconsin, that was really pre-internet. There was no social media. The internet was just starting, so you pretty much had, you know, television, newspapers, radio, magazines, so on and so forth. Now it's just so much different. Normally, TV might give it, you know, a minute and a half. The great thing about your piece is that you got as much time as you needed.
Yeah,
to tell the whole story and to talk to as many people as you wanted.
Yeah, and that was another important thing, you know, because with the media attention, you know, a lot of media outlets, they only focused on the shot, and of course you only had this abbreviated time frame to tell the story,
right,
on top of other things that were going on during the tournament, and I felt that our story needed a little bit more time than that. So again, like you said, I did want to take that opportunity to kind of delve a little bit more into it, other than just making it seem like, you know, hey, you know, Georgia State is just that Cinderella team and we're only worthy of that minute and a half of time on television.
So how do you go about, you come up with the idea, hey, I want to go ahead and do this project. You've got to organize and corral a fair number of people between coaches and players. I mean, I know RJ's with the Boston Celtics right now, so you unfortunately weren't able to get with him yet. You might be able to go back and at him later, but you know, how did you go about organizing everybody to meet your needs from a video and a production standpoint?
Well, of course, with the help of GSU TV, they provided me with a lot of the resources that I needed in order to put the project together. And then one of the directors, Mike Holmes, he coordinated a lot of things for me. He was able to get the players and the coaches in, and we worked kind of intimately together on the project. And we talked a lot for maybe like a month or two before we even started filming, you know, just as far as getting the players and the coaches' schedules on point, you know, getting them to come in because, you know, they have study hall and they're preparing for the next season.
Sure.
So it took a lot, but it got done. It got done.
All right, Shamika, appreciate it. Looking forward to sitting down and watching the whole thing, but congrats on an outstanding job on the piece, and thanks for contributing to the show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
I want to thank Shamika Gibson coming in again. Visit GeorgiaStateSports.com as well as YouTube to see Shamika's piece on the shot for Georgia State basketball. That'll do it for our show this week. Again, I want to wish everyone a happy holiday. We will be back with our next show on January the 14th. For the entire crew, I'm Dave Cohen. Thanks for watching the Georgia State Sports Update.